Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video on my channel. So in today's video, we're going to be doing episode 2 to the best base on No Man's Sky. If you guys liked this video, thought it was helpful, or anything in between, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It helps me out a lot, and I appreciate it greatly if you do. Let's go ahead and get into this video. If you'd like to support me further, I'm an up-and-coming author of the sci-fi fantasy genre, focusing heavily on sci-fi, fantasy, and apocalyptic stories. So if you guys are into reading, thought about getting into it recently, I'll leave a link down in the description below to my Amazon author account so you guys can check out my bookshelf and all of the things I have written. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into this video. Now, we did episode 1 a few days ago about featured bases that Hello Games or No Man's Sky handpicks to put on the main terminus inside of the anomaly. We did those bases to start with, but they don't change those very often, so I'm going to go through different sources to find bases that people have posted and go ahead and go and check them out. Now, the first base we're going to look at is called Garden in the Clouds. Now, this was made by an unknown Reddit user. They deleted their account at some point, so I'm not able to give proper credit to where it is due, but they did an amazing job with this base and the overall structure and just the outside layout of it in general. Now, I particularly enjoyed going through this base just because they kind of had a garden-esque feel to it, which kind of the other bases that I wish had it didn't have it in the past, but this one does have it, and it is kind of freaky to look down at the ground that you're so high up. But they have this 360 walk around view that you guys can go and walk around the entire base. They have multiple different levels you can go and look at, but the only thing is that they are kind of empty. There's just there's a few things placed on each different level that you guys can look at, so that's kind of lacking in this base. But they did do a great job on the outside work compared to the inside work, so I am kind of grateful that they did put a lot of work into the gardening area of it. It just makes it feel like this would be like some sort of chill resort that you would go to, or some kind of luxurious resort that you go to be with nature. So they did quite a well job at bringing that into the game, but again, they didn't do a very good job at making sure the inside was just as detailed as the outside, but it still was a pretty impressive base. Just because it did take a lot of work, and they do have a lot of configured lines and things like that. So all the lines they did, all the structure work for the building they did looks great. It's just the inside is really lacking, but I still enjoyed this particular base in general. And then up higher, there's more 360 views that you guys can get around the entirety of the base, with different kind of sections, like I said, some hosting plants, some being a bedroom, and then they also had a mechanic shop, which I will get to. But these smaller rooms, they did a lot too. It's just the bigger rooms that they're kind of lacking in certain aspects. But still, this is a great build, and I bet it took some time to actually make this actual base. So I do congratulate them on that. But what was also lacking was on this base, during the kind of mechanic type side of it, where like the exocrafts and stuff are, is that there's only 2 different kind of types of exocraft you can choose from, and I think they missed a major opportunity to put like the Minotaur here to be able to just fall down to the planet's surface. But these are the 2 that they put, and these 2 I don't really use. I usually just use the Minotaur and then the 2-wheel buggy. Those 2 are my favorite exocrafts to use on the game. That isn't going to hurt his ranking whatsoever. I just wish that was there, because it'd be more of like a planetfall type of scenario. But again, he did have some pretty good lines and creation of the base overall. It just looks really solid and really coherent, so I do appreciate that. And you can't deny this base looks absolutely amazing at night with the purple pink sky. It just all matches together. Here's the screenshot if you guys want to go and check it out. So next on the list, guys, is going to be Frig by Neffel MJP. Now, this is an absolute masterpiece and something I have not seen on the game before. Now, I did see, after I made this video, I started running into videos where people actually reviewed this one. So it's no surprise that this one has been reviewed by a lot of people, just for the fact that it is just an amazing build. Like, I have no idea how he did this so well to make it look like an actual frigate, or really, in my opinion, a freighter, just how big it is. But it is just absolutely amazing what people can do on this game, because I just ran into this one just on random by going through Reddit, and it is just a massive build that has a lot going on. So I can't show you the entire clip of me going, so I'll put the glyphs at the end of this segment of this base, just so you guys can go and look yourself if you never have before. But this video would have been like 40-50 minutes long if I didn't cut it down a lot. So because a lot of these bases are bigger, but I absolutely love how he made the engines. There's also like different turrets you put in the game, and then battery shells that are kind of mimicking battery shells. There's a the main control hub. He just did a lot of work to this. Like, it is just amazing, and this is like 2 years old, so I never seen this, and I've been playing this game since 2016. So it's just amazing the things that I have missed and that I'm going back and looking at, because this is something that I didn't even think was even possible. But I guess when players have a will, they will find a way to make something great. But once you guys land, it just gives you just straight frigate or freighter vibes, and you guys are just walking around into it. You can find all the different sections in this base, such as your main entry hub here with multiple different levels you guys can choose from. First, I went up to the control room just to check it out, because it's very noticeable from the actual outside of this place. There's different things also in this I'll get into, but the actual control center just looks amazing and just looks like it does belong. There's different chairs here with different terminals. Just the attention to detail on this base, just as a whole, especially this area, is just amazing. This person probably put in, man, I'd probably guess at least 50 hours in building this thing, probably way more than that. I'm probably hugely under determining how long it took. But there's briefing rooms, they have bedrooms, bathrooms, outside smoke areas. They're just so many things in this place. You guys need to go and check it out yourself to really appreciate every detail. There's server rooms, there's mapping rooms of like the universe, kind of like signifying, hey, we need to go here. This is where the engines are going to warp to. I don't know. This dude has such a creative mind that it just mind boggles me. There's different bedrooms you guys can go and look at. This one here, I'm guessing, is the captain's room, because I think it's the biggest one on the ship, with also his own view of the outside, which is understandable because there's a lot going on in this base, that a lot of things need to be put into it, even though it's massive. I'm guessing right there is kind of his engine that he made. Here's like the main little lobby that all the soldiers or occupants go and hang out at. Probably some gaming computers there, if I had to guess. The fireplace. There's just a lot here. I don't even really know where to begin at. Like I said, again, here's bathrooms that you guys can find. There's also bedroom or chambers that the actual probably soldiers sleep in, kind of mimicking that. It's where all the personnel will sleep. There's different like weaponry rooms, armory rooms. Just like every base needs an armory room. It's pretty much, you'll always find one in every base you go to, except for that last one, didn't have one. But it also has a huge storage area that you guys can go and look at, multiple different shelving, and also the storage containers. There's also this view of the ground under you, which is kind of trippy to me. Like, it was, I don't know, I didn't really like walking on it, even though I knew I wouldn't fall. That's just my fear of heights kicking in. But this person did a lot of things to this base that is just amazing, especially the monitor chamber right here. Now, I thought this was just going to be here for you just to call it in, kind of just mess with it, to be able to repair it, do little customizations to it, just kind of resembling that. But it is actually a lot different than I thought it was, and I am absolutely amazed by this. And also, it was something I wanted in the last base, but is a kind of like a planet drop point. Now, this was probably the most coolest part of this entire base, is because it's more interactive. So you just get in your monitor, you open that, walk towards that door to open it, and then you just walk out and fall down to the planet below. Now, I think it'd be so cool if we could actually fly ships as big as that in the game, and then also drop out the monitor. This would just be the coolest thing ever. But at least we have glitch builders that can make that possible. Anyways, here's a screenshot if you guys want to go and check this out. I highly recommend it. Probably one of the best bases that I've seen. Now, base number 3 is called Sky City, and is made by someone that I can't repeat the name of here on YouTube, just for YouTube restrictions and things like that. So if you guys are mature enough, you'll be able to know exactly what it says. But this city, or this base just in general, is just so colorful. It just throws in your face like cyberpunk or Blade Runner vibes. It's actually really beautiful, but there is a downside I'll get into. But they did a lot of work to this base just in general to make it look kind of futuristic, like that, I don't know, dystopian futuristic type of world. There's just a lot of color here. If you guys like color, then this is the base for you. But they did a lot of amazing features here with many different buildings that you can go into. The only lacking side of this is that a lot of these buildings are only one story, even though they show like multiple floors. You can only go to one floor of these bases, or each building, I'm sorry. And that's kind of the downside to it, because there's a lot of attention to detail on the city as a whole. But once you guys try to actually go into into these buildings, you kind of like just search them, just go discover stuff. There's only one story, so that is a major attention to detail on the interior that is just completely lacking. But they did do a great job on each one of these floors that you can go into. But there is a few floors, like I said, that are like 2 stories or 3 stories, but there's only like 2 out of like the maybe dozen buildings that are here. So you can't go into a lot of them. Not really sure what the issue is with that, but that is going to come into effect, just because a lot of other people have a lot of stuff that they put into their maps where they fill everything in. So I've got to take that into account, even if it was a restriction type of thing. But just in general, this is such an amazing this is base. They have different gaming arcades and restaurants you guys can go into, medical centers. Like, they put the whole kit and cabangle here. Like, it's just an amazing experience to go and look at this base and all the colors. It's actually kind of soothing and not just like super annoying. It's kind of a sensory overload, but it's a good sensory overload. Like, it just all looks well together, and they place these colors so coherently good that I'm really impressed about exactly how this base was made. The only downside to this base, which you'll see in a base that's coming up, is that this has a flat bottom to it, and there's no like kind of like mimicking of like a magnetic engine that's keeping it afloat, anything like that. So that is one thing that's kind of sad not to see, but it's not really going to take into account here, just for the fact that it is pretty high up, and it's probably supposed to mimic it being up in the atmosphere, or up in like orbit. But then again, you wouldn't be able to breathe, so I mean, it doesn't really matter either way. But it also has all these rooms, like I said. Some are filled to the brim, some aren't, and then just most of them are just empty skyscrapers that just have a bottom floor. So even though this is an amazing and colorful build that I do appreciate, I do have to take a lot of this into effect. Even though there is cafes that he put in here that just look amazing. There's attention to detail is on point. There's menus all over the table, and the color palettes that he uses all coherently go together. I just have to take into account everything to make sure I'm as fair as possible to every base as I can be. But yeah, if you guys want to go and check this base out, I highly recommend it if your thing is colors, because this place is just full of them. And like every base, you should expect to find either a weapon shop or an armory just in general. And this person also delivers on point with this weapon shop. It's just common knowledge. If you go to someone's base, there's going to be some type of armory or weapon shop. Now here is something that's a little extracurricular type of things that you would do in the background here. Just do is very creative with exactly what this shows the room is before you even walk into it. And I really appreciate that. It's actually a great little detail that he put together there. So I do highly approve of that room, just for that logo alone, that he did such a well job. But this is what I'm talking about on the multiple stories. You can see there's like mannequin looks. Oh, it's the statues, but it's supposed to look like there's mannequins up there. You can't go into a lot of these big, tall skyscrapers at all. So again, like I said, it's going to take a hit on the ranking, just because there is all this space that I can't even go into. So even though the whole structure of the base is attention to detail, a lot of it is not, like interior wise. But also I miss this coming in. It's like an exo mech or something like that, or a space mech that you go and repair the city. You just go fly around with it. I missed that when I first came in, so that's a great detail as well. But anyways, guys, if you guys want to come and check this out, go ahead and screenshot the glyphs I'm about to show here. Hope you guys enjoyed this one like I did with the sensory overload. But let's go ahead and get on to the next one. Now, this next base I'm going to show you guys didn't have a name on it, so I'm just going to call it the Dome Cluster by Snowman835. Now, this base did have a really cool overall design to it that I did appreciate in a lot of the buildings, but there are a few buildings that didn't really make the cut, just because it just looks kind of sloppy. But I will say that he did do his best, so I do appreciate that. A for effort. Like you see here, like the ceiling and stuff, they're not symmetrical like a lot of other bases are, the people that glitch build. So there wasn't really a lot of time and love put into some of these buildings. Some of them, yes, but some of them looks like they were just kind of rushed and just put together. and a lot of them are empty too, but they all host a bathroom, so that is a plus. That's something I always look for in bases, is a bathroom, because a lot of people miss it, but then there's a lot of people that also don't miss it. So that's just something for some reason that I really look for here, and they make a massive tub in all of these. So this person must be a giant, because all of these tubs in each one of these rooms are just absolutely massive. Now there are a few different rooms that host a lot more decorations and things like that, which are probably supposed to be reserved for, a VIP, or I guess in technically VIP, but he may have just ran out of space to put things down. That's why I don't really 100% like looking at big bases, because you have to be so meticulous on how many things you place somewhere and be so planned out to make everything look good. But he did make a massive mechanic room for Exocraft, which a lot of people just put like a small little building, which wouldn't make sense because you need a big space for the Exocraft. So I do applaud him for that. He also put a starship kind of landing pad on the top here, kind of mimicking that they also repair starships. So that's another great detail that I like to see. And then once we get into the kind of futuristic buildings, whenever we start seeing the real attention to detail in the glitch building here, he made some really great lines and also structures architecturally wise. So I do really appreciate these buildings in particular, because it looks like he put a lot of love into them, just with the different ceilings and the walls. He just did a great job with these, so I don't really know why he didn't do it to the rest of them. Like I said, I'm pretty sure he just rushed the other buildings because they just don't look as good as the other two buildings that are kind of futuristic. And of course, like I said in the later in the or early in the video, every place has to have either a gun shop or an armory, but this one goes a step further and actually puts in a gun range, which is absolutely cool in my opinion. I didn't even think about doing something like this for a base, so he has an upper hand in my book just for this alone. Like, it's pretty cool. I know they aren't like interactive, you shoot them and they fall down, but you can kind of see where your shots are landing, which I thought was a really cool concept in this base, was putting an actual gun range in. So applause to him for that, because I haven't seen anyone else do that. I mean, there's probably other bases like that, but I just haven't seen them yet. And then the upstairs of that main building I shown with the aquarium, there is just each plant that you guys can plant in the game. And then higher up, you guys will actually find a nip dip bud room, which is kind of supposed to be hidden, I guess, so that the law enforcement can't find it, because we all know exactly what what this plant is. But anyways, this was still a really cool build, I will say, in general, especially because, like I said in the last base, that I like to see, if it's a flat surface base that's floating, some type of magnetic lift or engines that are keeping it afloat. It just kind of adds to the lore of the actual base, and that it's actually put more into scientific than fantasy, because it's not just floating. There's actually something there that's mimicking, that's keeping it afloat. So I do appreciate that detail that he has put in the game, or in his base, and creativity, because I don't really see that in a lot of bases that are just flat. So he does have extra bounty points for that. If you guys want to check this out, here is the glyphs on the screen. Go ahead and just screenshot it, and let's head to the last base. Now, this is Home Base by Straight Shooter 37. That's an 8 for straight. This base is an architectural masterpiece in my opinion. I love the simplicity of it, with also the architectural designs that he put in. I don't know, this is just my favorite base, just personally, that I've ever seen. And there are a few reasons why I love this base so much. Honestly, I just love compound looking like houses or homes or bases. I just really like that type of concept. Even personally in real life, I don't know, for some reason I really just like the look of compounds. There's a few other things that absolutely made me fall in love with this base, and one of them is the landing pad. It is just perfectly circular, and the lines and the way he put everything just are so perfect that I want to be able to make a landing pad like this. Like, this landing pad is just beautiful in my opinion. He did an amazing job at creating this, and this deserves a lot of recognition because he put in so much work to make that so circular. And also, this walkway of all these arches are just magnificent. Like I said, it is an architectural masterpiece what this guy did. Even though there's a few different things that are like this, he still put in so much work that even this door had my jaw drop in amazement by just how beautiful it was when it opened. I don't know. Like, I literally stopped moving when I first seen it, like you seen there. Like, that's my first look on it. Like, it is just absolutely amazing how this door looks opening. Like, I don't know how he thought of that, but I absolutely fell in love with that door. Like, I want to do something like that for my base because it is just amazing. Like, just in general, I don't know, I'm still amazed by it, by just how coherent that looks with the shapes and the light behind it, like it's opening. I don't know. Major props to you, Straight Shooter, if you're watching this video, because that was an amazing doorway that you built. I'm definitely going to have to do something like that in the future for my own home base, because I just love that so much. But anyways, when you walk into here, it just looks like a luxurious billionaire's home that's on a resort or just on his own planet, really. Like, it's just pure luxury what you guys see. Now, some homes or some builds need a lot of things inside of them to kind of make everything look good, but this home, it looks perfect with not having a lot of things just stashed everywhere to kind of bring it everything. Even like a, I don't know, like probably not even two, like 500-inch TV screen there. But yeah, some homes need a lot of things, and some homes don't need a lot of different items and decorations in it, because some just work, some don't work. But this person definitely made it work with just how many things he put into this build, and also his asymmetric designs, his architectural designs are just an absolute masterpiece. Now, I'm not going to take my personal favorite into consideration whenever I rank these, but I did just have to pretty much show this entirety of this base, because there's not really no point in skipping all of it, because there's just so much to see, even though there's not really so little. But he did an amazing job at making oversized windows, paintings, just putting everything together so well that it doesn't need all this extra decoration everywhere. So that's the thing, like I said, you don't need all these decorations in your base as long as you place them right and your build of your overall structure is perfect. And this person got everything nail on the head in every category exactly right. Even the bed is a lot larger. It looks honestly better than the bed that's in the game. The beds that in the game just look like they belong in like a starship or a freighter. But he has his own patio that you can just wake up to and go sit down and watch the sunrise. Like, this base is just magnificent in all of its form, and that's all you're gonna really hear me say. He has also, with the master bedroom, a master bathroom. Now, these rocks here, I think, are just an overgrown part of the game, where over time part of the game comes, like, it just kind of like reemerges or respawns. So I'm not really taking that into account. That's over there near the shower. Even these windows look like they have automatic window curtains above them, and also a bubbling toilet. Not really sure if that's going to be a hot clean on the bottom back there whenever you're trying to clean up, or if it's cold, but it is bubbling, so I'm kind of sketch on that one. But I don't know, this whole build, even though it's so simple, it just looks amazing. But that's just my personal opinion. I don't know about you guys, but he did make it just look amazing. Even out here when the sun rises, you can just see the water, sunrise off in the distance, all the clouds, even the ringed planet. This place is just magical in my opinion, and he deserves all the props that we can give him, because he did literally such an amazing job on this build alone. Now, the only thing left to show you is just down here, kind of where I looked off in the first part of the video, but I decided to go inside first. And it's kind of just a long walkway with different kind of decor, like these plants here, and then another seating area, and then it just leads back over to this walkway that leads you back over to the landing pad. But again, I'm really just amazed by his architectural design on this base, and especially on this door, where I am just absolutely in love with it. It just looks just so eye-appealing to me that I just want to keep going back and looking at it. But yeah, guys, that is all of the bases for this video. If you guys would like to go and look at this base yourself, here is the coordinates right here on the screen that you guys can screenshot. And also, if you guys are coming to look at this base, it is called a touch of grass. It took me forever to find it whenever I was looking for it, because a lot of people came here and made bases, so it was hard to find. Even going to a terminal to kind of look on the teleporter to see all the base names, I couldn't find it because the picture isn't there. But also, here is the coordinates for his base that you guys can go to just in case the base doesn't show up. This is what I used to find it, was the coordinates in general, before I seen what the name of the base was and was able to just teleport to it. And now let's go ahead and get into the ranking. So if you guys watched my last video, you know my 3 criteria is creativity, aesthetically appealing, and also attention to detail. Now I try to keep my personal feelings out of this to keep it as fair as possible. And number 1 on the list that won it altogether was Frigate by Neffel MJP. Now this build deserves all of the credit and all the awards because this thing was an absolute masterpiece. They put this together so well. There's so many rooms you guys can go and look at, so many different rooms that there is. Also the Monitor drop point at the very bottom of it. This was just an amazing build all around, and I so appreciate how much detail went into this and creativity, and it was just looking at it is very aesthetically appealing just to look at, just in general. If this was my base, I don't think I'd ever make another base just in general. But congratulations, Neffel MJP, you have won my first place award. And now in second place comes Home Base by Straight Shooter 37. This was an absolute architectural masterpiece, and the reason it got second was because they filled in every gap that needed to be filled. Everything just looked so coherent and worked so well together. The architectural design alone on the door, the archway, and also the landing pad and just the building just in general was also, again, another masterpiece. The reason it didn't get first was really because the other one was such a larger scale and just had so much more detail that it just had to win. But you can't deny that this builder made something that was great and just looked amazing together, and it just all around just had an incredible architectural design. I wish I could find Straight Shooter in real life or just message him like, hey, can you build me a base, because I'm not this great at base building. But heading on to number 3 is going to be Sky City by the name I can't say. As you guys know, YouTube has restrictions, so if you guys are mature enough, you'll be able to know what it is. But this was also an amazing base that gave me the vibe of cyberpunk mixed with Blade Runner, and I'm just big into futuristic type things. But the downfall of this base was that there's nothing on the bottom that actually resembled that it was being magnetically hovered there, nor a lot of the buildings you couldn't actually go into the upper floors. There's like 2 buildings out of all of them that you could only go up into. So that is a major takeaway of this base and what hit it hard on the ranking, but it is such a masterful build. And in fourth place is Garden in the Sky. Now this was an amazing build on the outside and just the overall structure of the actual design. It was a beautiful building that this person made, especially with the backdrop of the sky and also different colors with the plants. But the inside was lacking just decoration, so that took a major hit, and it just wasn't as well refined as the others, but it was still a great build. So congratulations that you made such an amazing base. Now coming in last is by Snowman 835, which is the dome cluster that I named because it didn't have one on the post. But this one hit a lot of areas really well, but also missed a lot of areas also, just because some areas looked extremely rushed and some looked actually taken care of. But I do appreciate the gun range and different things he put into it, so we did get extra bounty points on that, and also the mag engines. So again, great build. I just wish you took more time in some areas. But anyways, guys, if you guys also have a base you'd like me to review and put into a video, then go ahead and join my Discord and send it to me there, because whenever I go to Reddit and stuff like that, I'll literally just look at the first picture, and if it looks interesting, I'll choose it without looking at any other picture, just so I can get a first impression when I get into it. But yeah, if you guys would like to submit a base for me to make a video on, then go ahead and just join my Discord down below. But thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you guys subscribe. If you guys want to subscribe, I'd really appreciate it to see more videos in the future, and I'll see you guys next time.